Hello, Earth person. Take me to your leader, who might be able to explain what this is.
Not a space helmet after all, but one of the very early bits of equipment that led to the now famous pastime of scuba diving. The story really started with spearfishing. It used to be illegal. It was thought that the spearfishermen would knock off too many fish and compete with the rod and line anglers. And then, in 1946 in Sydney, the ban was lifted, and people began to experiment with things like this. It's one of the original underwater face masks. This one was made very cleverly out of cast metal. It's quite comfortable, actually, to put on. In the front, glass was set in, and down here, well, on the side and down there, you had two tubes. One was an ordinary snorkel, and the other attached to a hose, and that went underwater and came up above the surface of the water, attached to something like an inflated car tube, a buoy. So you could put your head underwater in this thing and breathe air from the top. And in those days, the object was to go down and get fish. You couldn't buy a spear gun. Like everything else, you had to make it. And this is one of the original spear guns. Here it is, made out of wood, very primitive but very effective, with its powerful rubbers up the front and its homemade spear. You can recognise in it the sort of shape that you find today in commercial ones. Well, that was 1946 when the ban was lifted, and in many places the wheels come full circle because it's on again. You can't go spearfishing, it's too dangerous, or we've now got underwater reserves to protect the fish. But in between the two bans, there was a tremendous development of the equipment that you needed to go underwater and stay underwater. Some of the developments, like flippers, were fairly late, 1952 for those. But nowadays, underwater spearfishing may have given way to other sports, but we do have underwater swimming, and people go down there to enjoy the beauties of things like coral reefs and just the sight of underwater fish.